Wayne Carr, your favourite daytime jockey, will be in sometime between now and 12, at least twice, I would have thought. And also throughout the day's programme, proving that soliciting public opinion is the stupidest idea since deciding to privatise... since deciding to privatise a lot of things, actually. Hang on, let me get my brain in here. Yes, here comes one. Since deciding to... the best way of digging your garden is to throw open the door and go... And here it is. Here's today's first.
To ask you rather quietly about the latest craze for warping cats.
It's very unfair.
Why is it so?
Well, I mean, I'm a lover of animals, you see.
And you hate to see a cat, and a good cat, being warped.
Oh, yes, I do.
What effect do you think it has on the cat?
Oh, well, he'd generally run away.
But then he'd start turning corners, wouldn't he?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. But,
What can we do about it?
Well, of course, it's like everything else, like the same they're doing with the elephants, shooting them and all that sort of thing, you know.
And they're warping cats to make profit.
That's right. Well, it's all for money, and they just think money is the answer to everything. But
so they just go and warp cats, and other people will pay and make films and musicals.
That's right. But the secret of happiness, you see, is not in money at all. It's in a contented mind.
Of course, the problem also for the cat is that once it's been warped, it could be mistaken for something else.
Yeah, that's true.
What do you think you could mistake a warped cat for if you saw a warped cat, quite severely warped?
Small tiger, I suppose, because they don't have water.
Coat hanger?
Yeah, true.
One of them got sold in a bunch of bananas the other day.
I shouldn't doubt that.
It was so warped.
Yeah.
Of course, a slight degree of curvature probably wouldn't put it off that much.
No, you're right there. But
so how much do you think we could curve it, do you think?
3 inches.
It'd notice after 3 inches?
Yeah, that's just quite true.
But it wouldn't notice one?
No, not on one, no. No, 2 to 3.
First of all is another feedback report.
What do you think of the idea of making a few less large things?
Well, I don't know. The world is changing, and what does Margaret Thatcher say now? Small is beautiful.
Quoting Schumacher.
Probably.
The jockey.
Yeah.
He was small, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
So are you happy or not with the current number of large things?
Well, I'm quite happy. We think we've got a pretty fair mix.
Problem comes when you get an increasing number to the point where we become utterly congested.
They've been saying this for donkey's years, haven't they? There isn't enough space on the world to house everybody. I mean, you only got to go to some places like Africa or the States. There's terrific expanses of land.
Which could be filled quite easily with millions of large things.
Yes.
So you'd be quite in for making as many more as we wanted, really?
Well, not too many, no.
So there should be a limit?
There should be a limit, yes. But,
where would you draw that limit of large things? How many?
10 million.
How have you welcomed the advent of the sniffer chicken?
Sniffer chicken?
Yeah.
I approve that.
You approve of that?
Yeah, because...
Why is that?
Well, if a chicken's got more sense of smell than what a dog has...
Oh, yes.
He can do more good than what a dog can.
And, of course, the chicken is more agile and can get into tighter corners.
Oh, yeah, they can get into tighter corners.
And they can stay underwater for much longer, too.
That's right, yeah.
I suppose the flip side of this coin is that the chicken has to become addicted to the drugs in order to function.
Yeah, to function. Because I mean, say when they train a dog for that sort of thing, they make sure he gets to smell the drug first.
Yeah.
A chicken's got to be exactly the same, really.
Is it fair to make a chicken completely out of its nut on drugs?
I could do, I think myself.
And it was only recently that one particular chicken had so much stuff in its head that it believed itself to be a purple Mars monster.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. They would
and it made a very horrible sound.
Yeah, I mean, don't get a chicken, he's only got a very small head, isn't it?
We're looking today at the messy business of worm coursing.
Oh, I think it's cruel.
You don't believe in coursing worms?
No, I don't agree with that.
How can we stop its spread?
Well, I really do not know. Get to the source of it, I suppose, and...
What sort of people do you think they are?
Well, I should think it's foreigners.
That go chasing about madly after worms, flapping their arms and going, ah.
Yes, I should think so. Must be foreigners, I should think.
They are the sort of people that would set an amputee starling or a pinioned passerine in pursuit of the worms.
Yes.
What would you say to somebody if you saw them just about to indulge in worm coursing?
Well, I should report them to the police.
Quietly?
Yes.
very quietly?
Well, I mean, it's all according to how far it went.
It's been suggested that if we made worms rather faster, then they might be able to get out of trouble.
Yes, they would get out of the way, yes.
How fast would they have to go, do you think?
Well, say as fast as a bicycle.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, don't mind. Yeah, only joking, obviously. Yes, here's tonight's feedback report number 1.
What do you think of leaving it out?
Well, people should be able to leave it out if they want to, but there shouldn't be a charge on the community as a whole if they do so.
How long should they leave it out for?
Oh, I think if they should leave it out as long as they like. I mean, people should be entitled to live their own kind of life, but they shouldn't expect other people to look after them then.
Can you see any problems with leaving it out?
Oh, yes, I can, of course, because we have to live as a community.
What about leaving it out and then bringing it back in?
Oh, I think so. I think if you want to do that, yes, that's facing up to the responsibilities of being a citizen, I think.
And what about these people who leave it out and bring it back in so that people think they've brought it back in and then put it out again when no one's looking?
Oh, well, no, I think at the end of the day you've got to make up your mind about this. Of course, it's a question of age and so on, isn't it?
24.
Oh, I would have thought so, something like that, mid-20s, yes.
And finally, what about the people who leave it out, bring it back, then go back and have a look at it?
No, I think we should forget about people like that.
Feedback report number 2 for tonight. What do you think of shooting horses?
Well, one hardly shoots horses for sport.
What does one do it for?
Presumably, only if necessary.
What sort of speed should they be shot at?
As quickly as possible.
And who should they be shot at?
Well, presumably a qualified veterinary surgeon.
Quite seriously, I have to insist that I do not cut those feedback reports about, save to reduce the amount of time that they last by editing them. I do not change the sentence. It really irks me to have to say that, but one or two highly suspicious and cynical people actually believe that I ask different questions. It is not true, and this is the only lie I'm not going to tell tonight.
We're looking at frames of mind. Think it's a good idea to be in a frame of mind?
Yes.
What sort's a good one? Any others?
Yes. When I go shopping,
What sort of frame of mind there?
a friend of mine where I want to look at shops and that.
Would you say it's a bad thing to be in a bad frame of mind?
Oh, yes. Beyond all doubt.
And what do you think is the best shape for the ideal frame of mind?
A circular shape.
And what should it be made of, ideally?
Timber. Wood.
Any particular sort of a wood?
Soft wood.
And what sort of size?
Oh, 6 inches diameter.
And here's tonight's feedback report number 4.
What do you think of this brand new idea of residential chickens?
What, battery hens?
Absolutely right. Quite specifically, integrating battery hens with modern housing development schemes.
Don't agree with that.
Why not?
Well, I think that most modern housing sites should be away from all that. I mean, I go along with the idea...
Away from all the chickens and their influences.
That's right.
Why? Do you think it leads to a
Well,
decline in social behaviour?
Yeah, definitely.
What's the biggest evil that a chicken inflicts in terms of its influence?
Well, the fact that just brings the tone of the neighbourhood then, that's all.
So if that tone started off as a middle C, do you think it would get down as far as bottom E flat?
I probably would, yeah.
Radio 2.
What are your feelings about electric tadpoles?
Well, that's wrong. I think that's wrong.
Seems to be an increasing...
Well, I think anything like that is obviously wrong.
Any good points about the electric tadpoles?
I can't think of any good points about it.
You can find them more easily in the dark.
Well, it's not natural, not like fireflies and that sort of thing, is it?
No.
No, well, that's wrong, isn't it?
Do you think we should shave them so they fit in line with the other tadpoles?
No, I don't think so.
Then how would it feel about that?
Well, it would feel there's something wrong with it.
Pretty dreadful.
Yes.
Particularly interested to know your feelings on big noise powder.
I think the noise is very, well, too much.
Should it be allowed?
It shouldn't, no, definitely.
It should be quieter.
Very much wiser.
What colour should it be?
I think it should be something that sticks out so that people know what it represents.
Yeah, like what?
Red.
And what colour shouldn't it be?
Black.
What do you think it should be carried in? Big noise powder.
Well, it should be kept in a airtight container.
How much should one individual be allowed to carry?
Very, very small quantity.
Number of grams?
Between 1 and 20.
We're examining in some detail today the staggeringly cruel world of acid mouse music. What do you feel about that?
I'm not too keen on that idea, no.
What do you think's wrong with it?
Well, morally wrong for a start, and I'm against all kind of exploitation of animals anyway.
I can see that. So what about the idea that they're introducing mind-bending drugs into the heads of these mice?
No, I'm against experimentation on animals anyway, even in the medical sense.
Yes, and this is far from medical, sadly.
Yeah.
Apparently some mice have believed themselves to be large cartons of orange.
That's right.
Others even think that they're shoveler ducks. One even thought he was Eric von Daniken.
That's right, yeah.
Not right, is it?
No, not at all, no.
Would you go to the extent of banning it?
Yes, I would.
You'd ban acid mouse music tomorrow?
Yes, I would.
Today?
Today. An hour's time, even.
So it sounds like you'd support the setting up of the organisation to ban acid mouse music immediately, like now?
Yes, like now.
We're talking today really about pushing people too far. Where do you think it happens most?
From what I know, sort of business, that sort of situation.
What happens to someone when they get pushed too far?
Basically, they crack up.
How far do you think the average person can in fact be pushed? What do you think would be the average distance you could push someone until they cracked?
Miles, and you can push people a long way before they crack.
And if there was a rule limiting that number of miles, where would you set it?
5 miles.
How do you feel about dwindling gnat power?
Oh, not very good about that, actually.
Small insects have become quite weakened by the whole situation.
For the whole atmosphere, really, and it's just got out of hand, really.
There is a ray of hope in that it's been found that it's possible to artificially boost their power by the use of microelectronics and very small engines.
I think that's a very good idea, then. Yeah, certainly.
I'm sure you can imagine the problems associated with this if the gnats then begin to travel too fast.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of damage done with it, really.
Could be a lot of damage done to what in particular, do you think?
People, anything, really, came in contact with.
Would it surprise you to learn that a high-velocity gnat can stun cattle?
Could stun it.
Drop it to its knees?
Yeah.
Do you yourself ever think you've been hit by a high-velocity gnat? Stinging sensations on your forehead, you wonder what it is?
Yeah.
So there should be a limit, really, to the horsepower allowed.
Yeah, certainly.
The letter of the law. Do you think people are following it less these days?
Yeah, of course they are, yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Well, people are more independent. Years ago, you were brought up to be a slave and you had to sort of obey any command right from school.
I think you're saying that letter's faded somehow.
Yeah, faded, yeah.
Can I ask you very particularly, what are your feelings about the current standards in duck acknowledgement?
Well, I used to keep ducks myself.
Did you acknowledge them?
To the extent that they came to my voice. We were very close to an airfield. And if I said, where's that aeroplane? There's 2 or 3 of them who'd cock their head on this side and sort of look up.
It's a matter of showing them respect.
Yes. You just asked the question of what importance we attach to them. I think far too little importance.
So what ways could people be persuaded to acknowledge those ducky friends? Stop and pause and think about them for 30 seconds when they see them?
Yeah, try and appreciate them, try and realise that they are here the same as we are.
And also perhaps more acknowledgement in terms of poetry.
Yes.
And perhaps bringing back the old habit too of doffing the cap or curtsying.
Yes, but as I say, unfortunately, we're going the wrong way.
It's not an ideal world, is it?
It certainly isn't. A long way.
So, for example, if you came across some ducks in the next 17 minutes, how would you transmit your mood and what would you say to them?
Hello, how are you? Hope you're keeping well. And
you are a duck.
Yeah.
It's often spoken about as quite a frightening thing, isn't it, the thin end of the wedge?
Oh, of course it is causing havoc in the country. The birds can't nest, and what about the poor ants? I mean, there's nowhere to go. But this is the wedge is put between them and the bushes, as it were.
And it's just the thin end of the wedge?
It's just the thin end of the wedge at the moment. Sacrilegious.
How big do you think the thin end is now?
Well, I think that it's centimetres. I don't know. Someone said it's 1.5 or something of that nature.
It'd of course be thicker to stop it going in.
Well, of course it should be. Of course it should be.
So how many more centimetres should it be?
I would think another 3 or 4 centimetres. I think it just do the trick.
It's come round to two-dimensional chickens. What do you think of them?
Yes. Well, I don't agree with rat-free farming at all. We've got to be fed somehow, but it's not healthy for people to eat either. You know,
eat a two-dimensional chicken?
No.
It'd be easier to fry, I suppose.
Well, I can't see that.
It would cook through on both sides quicker.
Well, it sounds a bit lunatic to me. Whether or not we can eat these with safety, we don't know, do we? There might be some sort of something wrong with the composition of them. It's
a whole new field of food danger opens up before us.
Yes.
Do you think it's cruel to the chickens to do this?
Well, they probably won't realise, would they?
Passing thoughts. Do you find them easy to keep a grip on?
Yeah, I think so.
I find them too slippery sometimes. They just kind of get away.
It all depends on pressure of life.
Just the pressure of life squeezes them out again.
Exactly. Yeah.
How much use are they?
Sometimes it can be a basis of a new idea.
As useful as a stunt kite?
Well,
perhaps 3.
It all depends on how you feel, and if the time is right.
They move at quite a speed there, don't they?
Absolutely, yeah.
What speed limit should be imposed on passing thoughts then to enable us to trap them securely as they pass from air into brain?
50,000?
Pretty close.
No, sure.
Pecking orders. What do you think of pecking orders?
Well, I think it's a natural reaction.
Pecking orders a natural reaction?
Yeah.
Any benefits accrue from pecking orders?
Sense of order. More civilized, I think.
Any disgrace at all in pecking orders?
No.
So if you were given some orders, you'd peck them cheerily and without shame?
Yeah.
What would you hope to gain from pecking orders with your own beak?
Peace of mind.
Today's standards of priest delivery.
It's going downhill fast.
Do you think we'll ever get to the stage where priest delivery is directly unto evil?
Yes, it's heading there, isn't it? Priests were someone to look up to.
Now they're no more than an earwig's height above the ground.
But they still have the attitude that they should tell other people what to do.
So they're like tall earwigs.
Yes.
Sorry? How do you feel about these people who just go around moving things sideways?
Not a lot.
What's bad about it in particular?
They sort of look and they just walk on.
And they just move it sideways and they don't give a damn, do they?
It's very true, yes, it's very true.
It could lead to a decline in the human race.
Definitely.
By what year, do you think?
I should think another 10 years.
Can you think of any things which are particularly bad to move sideways?
Well, yeah, I mean, my house is perfectly all right as it is.
You wouldn't like it moved sideways?
No.
Do you think it's fairly immoral for people just to go up to other people's pets and move them sideways?
Well, yes.
And forms of transport?
Well, definitely transport, I think, not necessarily sideways, but...
or diagonally up kind of thing?
Yeah.
How do you think we can stop people just moving things sideways?
Well, there's got to be a limit, hasn't there?
Absolutely. So how many more things should we move sideways per week to ensure safety for the human race?
Well, 50.
What do you think of pushing people around?
Don't like it.
I suppose it does vary depending on the harshness of the pushing around activity that is going on.
Undoubtedly.
Of these 4, which do you think would be the worst to push people around? A hole in the ground, a porridge warehouse, a cheese souffle, or a one-legged dog?
A hole in the ground.
And I guess the faster you push someone around it, the more dangerous it will be.
Yes, because you're likely to push them in such a way that they may fall over and hurt themselves worse than going down the hole.
So what would you say would be the maximum number of revolutions per minute for pushing people around as a guideline?
10.
How do you feel about the continuing problem of all these things just going up?
terrible, isn't it?
Can have quite far-reaching effects, things going up.
Yeah, well...
For example, if you're trying to catch a bus and the bus goes up just before you step into it, then you fall onto the road.
That's right, yes.
What about bits of paper going up in your face?
Well, they can find more dustbins around, couldn't they?
They've been around long enough, bits of paper, they could have been sorting themselves out. How do you feel currently about pencil positions?
Well, I always like mine upright. Some they sort of slope backwards and some forward, so...
Quite a vast range of pencil positions, wouldn't you say?
I would say so.
Agreeing wholeheartedly there with Dr. Grant Fight, who's been counting them.
I would say so, yes.
What positions can you think of right now, Bang?
Between the two fingers. Someone I know, they always use a pen that way.
Do you think this variety can influence the way things turn out to be?
Yes, I suppose it can.
So we probably need to put a limit on it.
Yes, ideally, yes.
How many would you say would be legal and right and honest and decent?
I think about 4 at the most.
We hear now and then people mention animal magnetism, don't we?
Yes.
Do you think it's a good thing?
Certainly not.
Why not?
Well, it's not the done thing, is it? It's not the proper thing, is it?
You think it's rather indecent?
I think so, yes.
Ties in with the recent fightings of Dr. Stu Pidname.
Yes.
Is animal magnetism, for example, exciting?
I don't think so.
What animals is it particularly associated with?
A tiger.
Right, and what about in the United Kingdom?
Grass snake.
A grass snake?
They're more apt to be
magnetic.
Magnetic, yes.
Do you believe that animal magnetism is right, particularly with domestic animals?
Certainly not in my opinion.
Not right, is it, that they should find themselves flying through the air towards a lamppost?
I agree. Not in my opinion.
Other metal objects also provide something of an hazard.
Oh, anything that would attract them to cause any injury to themselves.
So, can you think of a couple of sharp things?
Well, knives. Scissors. Razors.
Forklift trucks and
everything, yes.
In your opinion, should magnetic north be located in the head, the ribs, the tail, the spleen or the claw?
I would think the head. The head would be the most likely, but it would take to the spleen, wouldn't it?
The second most likely.
Yes.
What are your feelings about dropping your guard?
Generally speaking, I would say it was a bad thing to do.
Why?
Well, you don't know what you might be letting yourself in for.
What effects could it have, do you feel, dropping your guard?
Don't know where it might be brought up at a later date.
Possibly in court?
Yes.
Particularly if he was dropped from a large height?
That's right, yeah.
What would be the maximum height from which you would drop your guard?
Well, say from the first story or something like that.
And I suppose a bit more if he bounced.
Yeah.
What's your feeling about these people that go around putting animals down?
Very bad.
Is it more bad than jumping over people's cars late at night?
Oh yeah, definitely.
If you call them an ill-educated, non-evolutionary byproduct.
Well, yeah, that's right, because they're putting them down for something they don't know what's wrong with it, no?
That would put them down quite a long way.
Yes, it would, yeah.
Should they be put down holes?
Down holes? No way, no.
Down lavatories?
No.
Down other people?
No.
Down a bean with a hole in it?
Oh, no way, no.
And if you put them down the proper way, how far down would you put them?
I should say about a foot.
About a foot?
Yeah.
Number of people around today rolling nuts about.
Well, I think it's disgraceful. A chap grabbed some nuts the other day and just kept rolling them along, smiling as he went by.
Been used to make noises?
A whole lot of noises. And the further it goes along, the more noise it gets. It's a propelling noise. I think it needs some eminent professor to come along and explain it.
Make them kneel?
Well, may not kneel, but to sort of bow down gracefully for long periods, say about 3/4 of an hour. And then to crumple up and make rather loud noises, almost a sighing, whimpering noise.
And then bounced horribly over high buildings?
Yes, off a height, yes. And a big bounce, a large bounce, and preferably a large bang at the end.
And laughing at them in a rather cruel way?
Yes, in a cruel way. You know, snidey, down, low, callous type of laugh.
And once thus punished, they should wear what sort of tie?
Well, I think they should be made to wear a blue and green tie. A blue and green tie. Tied tightly around the neck.
Horizontally sticking out in front of them?
Horizontally sticking out, yeah. Held up by a large nappy-type safety pin.
With a breaking strain?
Oh, about 150 pounds. That's extent. from the inside leg.
Yeah, here's another one of those feedback reports. This idea of leaving gaps behind people, do you think it's a good one?
Yes, you must leave a gap behind people.
Otherwise?
Well, people can feel boxed in.
Full reeling to the ground, clutching their eyes, saying, wear gloves next time.
That's right.
Magnitude of the gap behind people that you leave is obviously quite important, isn't it?
Yes.
How small do you think you can make the gap, then?
Well, I think about 3 to 4 yards minimum.
Would you mark it out perhaps by swinging your arms around?
Well, I think a person has got to swing his arms around to keep himself going. It's no good walking with your arms by the side of you.
Obviously a question of balance there as well, I think, comes in as a side order.
Yes, definitely.
And what about sticking your leg out backwards to
No, that's definitely out.
What about the distance perhaps that you can throw a tantrum?
Yes, that's correct.
How would you mark it out?
It's hard to say how you can mark it out. I think you'd have to get a piece of string.
And your personal preference of colour?
Would be white.
How do you feel about head trousers?
They're not hurting anybody, are they?
Do you agree with it at all, or do you find it all rather sad?
Probably rather sad. They've got to make themselves look a bit so stupid.
Has to be done correctly, of course, if it's to be done at all.
Well, yes.
What would you say would be the proper way to do it?
Well, as long as they can see.
Of course, the headband might slip.
So you've got to stop immediately.
What would you think would be the best way, then, to avoid that happening?
Well, you can only do it by fastening it properly in the first place, which you probably can't do anyway.
Can you think of any circumstances where it would be profoundly ill-advised to go about in head trousers?
Probably out and about and walking. If they slipped, yes, and you were doing it across the road, well, you might walk into a car.
What about plugging in large voltages?
Could be dangerous likewise.
Can you think of anyone who really shouldn't be allowed to do it at all?
Using a chainsaw.
A plumber?
A plumber.
In order to regulate it, how many times would you say would be a maximum number of head trousers per week?
A couple of times, let's call it 4 times a week.
4 times a week for head trousers? What are your personal feelings about vertical laughter?
Vertical laughter?
Can you think of an example of what might produce vertical laughter?
Really? Stand-up comic.
Does vertical laughter last longer?
Probably, yes.
How much longer do you think?
50%.
Obviously it's not appropriate on every occasion, is it?
No, that's true.
Which of these would you think it was least appropriate for? Buying houses, building a safe bridge, boiling fat, or walking around a sheet of glass?
Boiling fat.
Which is the second most dangerous then?
Walking around a sheet of glass, I would think.
What could be the result if you indulged in vertical laughter when you were doing that?
Well, if you fell, you break the glass, you could do yourself an injury.
An absolutely haphazard myriad of nasty injuries, all caused by the simple act of vertical laughter. What is the best sort of laughter, do you feel, is that?
Very horizontal.
As you know, every now and then I allow my manservant to pontificate on matters of world interest and importance. Last week we were observing people from the roof of a multi-storey car park. His name is Sergeant Murphy. A lot of people down there looking rather misrepresented, aren't they?
Well, they are, you see, because they feel lost.
They feel the need to go around looking underneath a lot of things.
Well, they do. There's people in there. There's one chap now there said, you see, there's a train coming in now, and the one chap just before that train arrived was looking under the rails of the steam engine that was already in situ.
And he's now very dead, isn't he?
Well, he's dead now, you see. Well, you see, the chap said to me just before he died, he said, it's a happy release.
He's picking himself up now, he obviously...
Well, no, he's just shook himself, but I still think he'll die. They're pouring diesel fuel over him now.
A control handle is needed on the top of their head, really, isn't it?
Yes, we want sort of a permanent adjuster.
Providing a lot of leverage from the central boss in his head.
Well, his head is reportedly to tilt 6 inches to the left and about 3 inches to the right.
And tomorrow?
Just another day, another dead person.
How do you feel about the so-called fashion for blatantly hiding the ground?
Well, I mean, it's disgraceful, I think. Something should be done. They should give more powers to the police to put them in prison longer.
Do you chirp in on the same tone there?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, we find now that
disgrace, isn't it?
people don't go out.
Is it worse at night?
Oh, decidedly. Yeah.
Definitely on that.
Definitely.
Where would it be most dangerous of all hidden ground?
In the cutter section. If you were walking on the fringe of the cutter sections.
Who do you think's responsible, frankly?
A lot of the parents are responsible.
And every bally minute of the day when they're not being supervised, the kids are out hiding the ground.
Exactly, yeah.
Let me put you, at least in the mind, in this rather grim scenario. You open the front door, the ground's been blatantly hidden. What could happen to you?
We should perish, shouldn't we?
Rather horribly.
Yeah.
What sort of preventative measures could we take to stop the ground being so easily hidden?
Well, you could put flags or what the police put around all this yellow ribbon stuff.
Yellow ribbony. Ribbony.
Yeah.
Feedback report number 2. What we're actually looking at is rather important noises. Can you think of any rather important noises?
Yeah, where I live, we used to get students in that every night shouting their heads off in that.
What other noises do you think are due a certain respect?
Tractors and that.
That's the rattling noise of some fairly scrapey things. Yeah. What happens if we ignore their impotence?
Lose my chest.
Not a sort of thing you can do twice.
No, you can't, not really.
What makes one noise more important than t'other?
It's size, really.
Much more than the shape.
Yeah.
Do important noises tend to come more often from behind things or in front of them?
In front of things, I think.
Most of the time, rather curiously.
Yeah.
Dr. Cy Luntz has proposed a publication of a noise list. Is this a good idea?
Yeah.
Would you buy one?
Yeah.
How much should they be sold for?
£40.
And what is the most important noise in the world?
Concorde. And it goes past in the sky.
What are your feelings about egg distortion?
It's a modern problem. It's a crazy scheme of...
With mad people in it?
That's right.
Do you think anything can be done about it?
I think you would have to change the whole profitability structure.
At ground level?
Yes, I think I would.
Most egg distortion tends to be just a slight blurring around the edges. Can you tolerate that?
It's one of these angles which is very difficult to define.
I suppose it does depend on the angle as well as to how distorted it looks.
Yes.
Can you condone, for example, distorting an egg into a cabbage?
No, I don't think so.
What about into a speed limit?
Not really, no.
What degree of distortion do you personally feel is tolerable?
Round.
Today we're examining not at all remotely this business of plan bouncing. What do you feel about that?
You could be irresponsible if you did that.
What do you think is wrong with bouncing a few plans around the place? Bing, boing, bang.
I suppose there's nothing wrong in it.
Where does Donald Danger creep in then?
Donald Danger?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you could sort of invest your money in the wrong place and find you lost it all, wouldn't you?
Then you've been for a Shirley shock.
Yeah.
Then back to Barry Bounce. How high would you like a plan to bounce if you bounced it on purpose?
Oh, about high as an average ass.
27 feet?
Yeah, 27 feet, yeah.
And what would you ideally like to bounce your plans over?
Over the stock exchange, I suppose, now.
Over a bus?
Yeah, over a bus, yeah.
A car park?
Car park, yeah.
Where not then?
On the sand, I suppose, yeah. You want bouncing on the sand.
And a final word on plan bouncing, good or bad, what do you say?
As Jesus said, the man who built his house upon the sand and it fell and the great was the fall, but the wise man built his house upon the rock.
Brackets without bouncing it.
That's right, yeah.
What do you think of 3 feet above the ground?
Well, you've got a lot of smells down there. You're getting, probably if you were near a bad sewer, you get stinks coming up there. And
what if you were near a good sewer?
A good sewer? Oh, that's all right. It's self-cleansing then.
Is it better or worse than 4 feet above the ground?
I should think it would be worse at 3, yes.
It's a lot more generally bad behaviour down there at 3, isn't there?
There's a lot of new drains gone in.
Is it smooth? 3 feet above the ground.
In some places, I should say it'd be up and down.
Undulating.
Naturally, where the contaminant, you go up. So
heaps and heaps and heaps there. Yeah, bright piles and
Yeah.
I was to make about 4.
Yeah.
In some places.
Yeah.
Is it stiff?
Hey?
Is it stiff?
Oh, I don't think it'll be stiff now.
Right. Do you like it at all, 3 feet above the ground?
No, I don't.
You rather hate it?
Yeah, I think it's not so good.
How much do you think it's worth then, 3 feet above the ground?
If you put it in money, I should say it would be a lot of money.
Will mustard help?
Hey?
Will mustard help?
Oh, blimey, that'll kill you, won't it?
How can we best deal with it 3 feet above the ground?
Put it in bags like we're doing, and
Put 3 feet above the ground in bags.
put it in the bags and then get rid of it.
Right.
God knows where you're going to get rid of it.
And what colour would you make 3 feet above the ground?
Well, I think it'd be yellow would be all right because they used to use that.
In your estimation, how long before 3 feet above the ground becomes a complete no-go area?
Now, it's all according which way the wind's veering.
If the wind's veering that way?
Downwind.
Downwind.
You're all going upwind.
Downwind.
Well, they're chucking all this cellulose spraying and all this stuff's going in there. Little blokes doing it round the corner.
Very little blokes there.
Hey?
Yeah. How long before it becomes a no-go zone altogether?
Well, maybe 10 years, mightn't it?
Boiling point. Any dangers involved?
Well, for children, obviously, yeah. Boiling points, yeah.
What could happen?
It could fall onto a child or something.
Or even get run over by an approaching train?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Morris.
People say the funniest things, don't they? Those feedback reports, I don't know, they're just amazing. And here's today's feedback report number 2.
We are looking today at inappropriate shoe adjustment. What's your opinion?
Well, it's a bad thing.
Is it better or worse if it's preceded by a slight cough or throat clearing sesh?
Well, something a bit more loud, more...
But not enough to bring medical attention and that sort of thing? No. Is it worse with both hands?
Well, it's better with 2 hands.
It is better. What is the worst conceivable occasion to indulge in a bout of inappropriate shoe adjustment?
Well, going into a cinema or coming out of a cinema would be worse than anything else.
Cause a bit of Colin chaos there, couldn't it?
It would.
Is inappropriate shoe adjustment most likely to lead to 1, a general increase in everything, 2, things getting flatter, 3, men shouting, or 4, sock excess?
Things getting flatter.
Down to a thickness of about 2 or 3 millimetres?
Yes.
And here's today's feedback report number 2.
Drawing rings around things. What's your approach?
I should think it probably in the long run it does a lot of good, I suppose.
It takes a while to work itself out, doesn't
work its way through, I suppose, yeah.
What sort of advantage could it bestow?
Well, see things in a different light, I suppose, you know.
There must be 1 or 2 things about which it would be a profoundly bad idea to draw a ring. Can you think of one?
Joint box, I should think. Joint box, I should think, yeah. Probably.
Junction box?
Junction box, I should say, yeah.
What would be a good size of ring to draw about the things which it is safe to draw a ring around?
Well, a couple of yards, I should think, in some cases.
And how many more would you like to see by the end of the coming decade?
Between 5 and 10,000.
How do you feel about these reported outbreaks of fig jousting?
It's a bad idea, I should say, if somebody suddenly comes along and wallops somebody with a fig.
What's likely to happen to somebody in a fig joust?
Various injuries.
Such as?
Catch somebody in the eye with one.
Would you advocate the use of face protectors?
Yeah, definitely.
Would you prefer a plastic visor?
Metal bars, I think.
More effective against a fig?
Yeah, I think so.
Is fig jousting worse when it occurs as a spontaneous outbreak?
Probably more dangerous.
Would you like there to be some kind of regulation?
It'd have to be organised.
With a referee?
Yeah.
And what would be the maximum number of figs you'd allow each jouster to have?
Half a dozen.
Is the letter of the law followed closely enough?
No.
How closely should we follow it?
Well, we ought to be right up on top of it, within about an inch of it, murder.
Within about an inch?
Yeah.
At what sort of speed should we follow it?
50 miles an hour.
What in your book is the letter of the law?
M.
Is it big enough at the moment for people to see this M?
No.
How big should it be?
Oh, about 6'6".
And how could everybody see that big letter of the law, M?
Plastered all over the place.
In what colour?
In red.
Did you hear the conversation I had with Sergeant Murphy last week?
What's come out of the hole so far?
Well, a lot of barristers with forked tongues.
What kind of complaints have come out of the hole?
Well, several. They've complained about the price of entertainment. Why should they pay the same price as every other barber?
What other sort of professions have come out of the hole?
Green. Greeny blue.
How much chocolate have the barristers got?
4 bars to the dozen. Those atomic solvents.
16th century man who came here, was he taken seriously?
Very seriously. He was taken away in an ambulance. And then they covered him over with a white blanket with holly and ivy bushes over his head.
How far down the list did the re-accountant appear?
Oh, about 3/4 of an inch.
The hole only appears at certain times of day, doesn't it?
Dusk, about 6:30.
Who's most likely to get back into the hole?
Probably Neil Kinnock or somebody.
Efficient or bland?
Just a small shake. Clean shaven and a sandy moustache. Straight hair and wavy legs.
Can the public help?
The public can help, yes. They collect all the leaves in a waste paper basket and dispose of them organically.
But will they?
I doubt it. Before the war, we collected all those things, including cardboard cartons, cigarette ends, and shagged out milk containers. And now they don't care. And people are mean fossilised.
What time you set the alarm?
4:30 in granite.
Blue, black, green, yellow.
Sideways.
Twice?
I don't go to church, so I don't believe in God.
Flat things in the air. They're on the increase again, aren't they?
Yeah.
How do you like it?
I don't like it at all.
How do they affect the people, flat things in the air?
They're bound to worry about it, aren't they? I mean, all these things going on.
I suppose the whole family sit around and worry at times, don't they?
Yeah.
What colour are the flat things in the air that are really bad?
I think it'd have to be black.
What difficulties do they impose? Flat things in the air.
Cuts and one thing like that.
Would you like to see a decrease in the number of flat things in the air?
I hope so.
By the end of the week, how many would you like to see got rid of?
I don't know if we can get rid of them all, but...
How many would you like to see gone by the end of the week?
Say a few 100,000.
What type of ecstasy are these people experiencing?
Well, I don't know. You'll have to go to some of the good shops. I mean, walnuts are a perfect example.
And the head counter?
About 74 in the shade.
To what degree is this the responsibility of Mr. Tinseltonsel?
This chap, I'm very disappointed. When he got the post, first of all, he was very, very good. But he seems to have fallen away somewhat.
Is he whacking people with his glow rope?
Well, the chap, he was going to retaliate, but he said it's a season of goodwill, so he went to the local pub and had a couple of hot Charlies.
With what sort of noise?
With the Chevel's balls.
How many heads?
4 heads.
Shape?
Flat and oblong, like the oval cricket pitch.
On the first floor?
No, second floor. So as I can look over my slaves and that, you see.
And a final word of advice to every single person.
Propose to anybody you meet, man or woman, dog or a donkey. I say hello.
A small Betty Grable went into the stable?
Yeah, to meet Mabel at the table. She drinks Carling Black Label.
Tossing your head. What does it mean when you do it?
Tossing my head means you don't want to know.
Is it an outdated thing to do, toss your head?
We don't see so much of these days, do we? No.
Would you like to see a return of that?
I damn well would do, yeah.
Yes. So when you don't want to know, you toss your head?
Yeah. A little gesture of my arms as well, yeah.
A little gesture of your arms to accompany the departure of your head?
That's right, yeah.
And how far do you toss it?
Well, 10 feet.
So once they were within 10 feet, you'd toss your head at them?
Oh, yes.
It'd be pointless doing it if they were further away?
Oh, I think so. Then they wouldn't know what the score, why you were tossing your head in the first place.
Exactly. And it might not carry?
No, of course it wouldn't. No.
So what distance would you say would the ideal distance for tossing your head?
Oh, I think within a range of 10 feet anyhow.
And then you'd try and make your way home as normally as you could?
That's right. Of course I would, yeah.
Snuffle. Looking today at the rather grubby business of gut festivals.
Oh dear.
Does it strike you as a good idea to encourage gut festivals?
Oh no, we don't. No.
What sort of problems can arise at gut festivals?
Drug taking.
Anything else?
Well, they all look too dirty to me.
Obviously, to stop this kind of trouble at a gut festival, it'd be quite a good idea to impose a gut limit.
Yeah.
Would it be a limit on size or a limit on concept of gut?
Size.
Size of gut.
Yes.
And what size of gut would you allow maximum at a gut festival?
About, say, 2 inches.
Take the top off.
Oh, no.
Take the top off? It'd be spewing out all over the place, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
What length of gut would you impose?
3 inches, eh?
3 inches?
Yeah.
And how many pounds would that be?
What's the gut weight? About a pound.
1 pound.
1 pound. Oh.
You don't mind gut festivals so long as the gut is limited to 3 inches and about a pound weight?
Yeah.